What's up, guys? It's a late Boy Scout with another SHOT Show recap. Today we're going to talk about the Taurus Curve. I did not get to shoot this gun. I did handle it a little bit at the Taurus booth on the SHOT Show floor and got some good impressions of this gun, and I'm going to share those with you today. But before I do that, I want some feedback from you down in the comments section. What do you guys think about the SHOT Show recap format? This will be the third one that I've done. I've got a lot more in mind, but I want to know if they're connecting with you, if they're being helpful. So tell me down in the comment section, do you want to see more of these SHOT Show recaps? I know it's a kind of a strange format compared to other videos that I've done. So again, your feedback will help me out. Let's talk about the Taurus Curve. When we saw this gun introduced or announced, it was a little bit like, what is happening with this? Really, a curved gun? Obviously, it's going to be kind of weird in the hand of a left-handed person because it's curved off to the left if you are holding it in your right hand and pointing it down range, which would be weird, again, in the hand of someone who's left-handed. So, really, obviously, this is just for right-handers. And we got to be honest, that does make up the majority of the market, so I guess they're safe for the most part with that. However, there are a lot of things to point out and kind of talk about in regards to this gun. The first thing I thought when I saw the curve was, that is weird. Really, we're going to have a curved gun? And then it started to strike me, well, is the magazine curved? How's everything else working on the inside? This is kind of, I got to understand this, so I was interested, I won't say excited, but pretty darn interested when I got to SHOT Show to get my hands on it and get a feel for how it worked, what it really looked like and how it felt in hand. So the first really striking thing about the gun is that, it's curved all around it. It's rounded all the way around it. Even all the way to the muzzle. The muzzle has got a rounding taper to it. It's very shiny and polished there, but it is like tapered off at the top, which leads me to believe that you might have gases escaping a little unevenly. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I'd like to see how it performs, but that could mean that it actually helps to eliminate muzzle rise slightly. That's kind of what I'm imagining. I don't know if that'll actually happen. But it is an interesting point that they shaved off the top of the barrel to maintain the curve on the front of the gun. And it's is rounded everywhere. And then, of course, the curving shape of it. There's also no sights whatsoever. There's sort of like this upside down T on the back of the gun that you're supposed to sort of put in line with your target, and then that will get you on target, apparently. I don't know. I mean, they say it works, and I haven't really heard reports from anybody that's shot it, but I don't know. It's yet to be seen whether it's going to be easy to get on target with that not really a sight kind of arrangement that they have on this gun. Also, we could talk about the fact that it comes in two variations. One's a laser, one has a laser in the built into it. One is just basically empty where the laser would be. So it's basically designed to have that laser in there, the laser and light, if I'm not mistaken, LED light and the laser, which will sort of illuminate and then also put a laser on your target. So this, it kind of lends itself to the whole not using your sights anyway type of idea. The sort of the belly gun, the pocket gun type of a gun. Which, again, doing what they've done here, adding the things onto it that they've added onto it, I can see how they think that it's going to be a good gun for that. They have also taken the measure of adding a clip to the side of the gun because, again, it's not designed to go into a holster. It's curved and meant to take the place of a holster and fit straight into your waistband. So they've got that trigger guard, that trigger protector that comes over the top of the trigger guard with a little string, not quite paracord. I don't think that's Kydex either. It's too thin. If it is Kydex, it's a very thin Kydex. But it does come with that trigger guard protector, which, I think they just had to do that. Next, I believe the capacity is 6 + 1, and the weight, if I'm not mistaken, is exactly the same, or at least according to their marketing materials, is exactly the same as their 738 TCP line, which is about, I want to say 10.5 ounces, around that neighborhood, maybe 10.2, if my memory serves me. And if the curve is in fact the exact same weight as the TCP, well then that's kind of neat, I guess, because it seems like a slightly more massive gun. It's not huge, obviously, but it has roughly, it feels like it has more mass than the TCP. So if it comes in again at the same weight, that's an accomplishment. While we're on that, let's talk about the mass associated with this gun. It takes up more space than the TCP does. Now, if you're going to say, well, the TCP in a holster probably takes up more space than the Curve does, that's probably true, but then it's in a holster and it's working the way that it should in a holster. In my mind, that's how all guns are meant to work. If they're going to be carried, you carry them in a holster. So I was kind of surprised by that at SHOT Show when I held the two guns next to each other, compared them side by side and kind of top to top, and saw that the TCP is still thinner than the Curve. So the Curve, while it should conform to your body shape, all they've really done is added some mass on one side and some mass on the other to create that curve. They haven't actually taken a TCP and bent it. That leads us to the magazine. The magazine is not curved, the magazine is straight. So the channel through which that magazine goes has to be a bit fatter in order for that straight magazine to move through it without being impeded. While we're on the subject of the magazine, we could talk about the magazine release. Instead of having a magazine release near the trigger guard where it's supposed to be, you have to pull it out from the bottom. Now, we've gotten away from that design. We just don't make guns that way anymore. There are a few, obviously, that are still built that way, but designs have changed. They've become a little more standardized. At the base of the trigger guard, that's typically where the button is to release your magazine. I like that design. I know most of you guys like that design. Some of you are happy to adapt to other designs. For me, no, not this one. I do not want to have to use two hands to remove my magazine. So having gotten most of the details out of the way, we might as well move to straight opinion at this point. I think this is overall just kind of a dumb idea. Occasionally, dumb ideas come up and they materialize and they get past the CEO or whoever it is who's supposed to go, nope, that's a dumb idea, don't do it. And they get made. You know, the money gets spent, the thing gets created, it gets produced, and it gets sent out, and they try to sell it. Will this sell? It may. You know, I think this is going to appeal to gun people that are not gun people. Does that make sense? Folks that want a gun, but maybe don't want to have a bunch of guns or want to learn how to use a gun well. I know you know people like that. I know people like that. There are people in my family like that. One of my little brothers is like that. He carries a 380. And that's all he wants. You know, he doesn't go out and practice with it very much. If you're listening, bro, you know I'm telling the truth. He doesn't practice with it very much. He's not interested in going and getting training. This is just typical of a lot of people, unfortunately. And people who want the comfort and feeling of security associated with carrying a gun without really knowing how to use a gun are going to be attracted to this gun. All the rest of us that care about getting some proper training, getting at least lots of practice, and having a gun that has at least some sights on it and some ability to fight with if we ever had to, we are not going to be interested in this gun. I am not interested in this gun. I bet a lot of you are not interested in this gun. Some of you are, and I like to generally leave things open-ended and kind of leave it up to you to make up your mind. And obviously you still have the freedom to do that, but I do not recommend that you pursue purchasing this gun. I don't think it's worth it. Sorry, Taurus, and sorry to any of you guys watching who kind of had your heart set on this gun, and I honestly just don't have a good opinion of it. And that is my SHOT Show recap for this week. Thanks for listening. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know if you want to hear more of these SHOT Show recaps. I got more ideas on the way, and I'm anxious to talk about them. Thanks for watching.
And the only thing that differentiates the two is one comes with the light and laser incorporated onto the firearm, and the other one is basically just a cover on there. The MSRP with the light and laser is $392. The one with